All right, we're on here live. I had to come by way of my own particular account with Resident Essentials, but we're on live right now. Looking forward to seeing many of you um, to be here, and hopefully we'll get this message out into the world. Well, I'm Brother Francis Z. Revels Bey, and I've been a spiritual counselor for over 40 plus years. In fact, about 45 years now. And I enjoy helping people such as yourself have an opportunity to be able to assist you in gaining greater clarity. I also like to help you define or discover your purpose for yourself, and that's also equally essential as well at this time. And so, today's particular action here, opportunity, is we're going to talk about, or I'm going to share with you this very brief topic, and it's called Become a Better Version. Choose this moment called you and seize the time called now. And the reason for this is because it is allowing you to have a better connection to myself and all other people. Because in doing so, you are receiving this on a completely different level. Life is always about change. And when we can change ourselves, then we are capable of changing our surroundings, which impact everything else. And so that's what we're striving to do right now. And yes, there's so much that's going on in the world, and people are wanting to know, well, will we survive? Well, I don't think we're really surviving now. But what is going on is that the greater the opportunity we have to become more of ourselves, the greater the opportunity we have to help change the world. And it's all about change. We're all seeking change. And this is highly important. So if we're not like willing to change ourselves, we're not going to see change in the world. If we're not willing to give ourselves an opportunity to shift our outlook, our personal outlook on life, our attitude on life, one of the things I say to a lot of people, don't get caught up in rhetoric. Now, rhetoric has, like, I think about two different definitions. One of those definitions for rhetoric is that it's trying to persuade you to accept a particular viewpoint. That's what a rhetoric is actually designed. Rhetorical thinking, rhetorical speaking is designed to influence the audience and shift them towards the speaker or shift them into some another mode of thinking. Now, all of us do that, especially if you go out and you're a lecturer or you're a teacher, professor, even in the spiritual metaphysical realm. But we're not trying to change your way of thinking. We're just giving you another avenue in which to look at something, which then gives you all the space that you need with yourself so that you can move forward. That's what we're actually striving to do. We're not trying to change your mind. We cannot change your mind. The only thing that we can change is ourselves and how we think and how we're doing something. I like to say to everybody, if you're coming on right now, if you want to share this link out with everybody, if you've never subscribed to Resident Essentials, this is an ideal day in which to do it. We're under the sign of Scorpio. We're in the 11th month. We're on a 2 day. Calendar day is number two, and that's about partnerships, relationships, the gift of partnership, the gift of collaboration, but it's also the opportunity and the willingness to be able to connect with other individuals. Usually, sometimes you want to connect with like minded, sometimes you may not. But the whole idea is to spread the love into this world. And we're here in our own way doing it. We would like to see more of you come into the platform, come into the stage, the global stage, and actually share the gems that are embedded inside your heart with other people. You know, the more that we can share, the greater the opportunity will be to see healing in the world. The greater that we share, the greater moment that we find ourselves in, we could share the gems inside of ourselves with our neighbors, with family members, extended family members, and anybody else in your community. I always like to take a ride down the road and stop at my favorite, eateries. Sometimes, if you go to a certain place enough times, they get to know you. Give you a prime example. I was 3 days ago. Yeah, 3 days. I think it was Tuesday. Tuesday, I decided to, no, actually, not Tuesday, it was Monday. Monday, I decided to go to this eatery that I like called Flying Star Cafe. It's not too far from me, but you can't walk to it. It's quite a distance to walk. So I took an Uber there. Well, before I went to there, I had to take an Uber, another Uber over to a location where I have to collect my business mail. And so I went over there and I collected some mail that I saw there. And then I went down into that was the UPS store. Then I went to the Smiths and I did something there. And then I called this Uber. Well, this wonderful woman shows up in this grayish silver Mercedes Coupe Benz Coupe. Okay, little car, can seat four people if you can get them in there. But here's the greatest factor: we got into a conversation about metaphysics and spirituality, and she mentioned a specific name of a woman that actually got her into being open minded. And the woman's name that she mentioned, I'll just mention the person's first name, is Betsy. And when she said Betsy's full name, I actually completed it for her. I said, I know who she is. I know where she used to live, and blah 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 here in Albuquerque. And we were talking. So that was an opportunity for us to exchange business cards. And she's very interested in maybe getting over to RE and when she can to attend other classes and meditations and things that I give. Then yesterday, I'm climbing on the bus, but before I get on the bus, I'm thinking of this particular bus driver. I have not seen this guy in 2 years. He's been up and down my route a lot, but this is the first time I've seen him in 2 years. He's back on my route, heading south. Step up on the bus, he had changed his hair, cut his hair low, all this stuff. I almost didn't recognize him until he spoke to me. We exchanged business cards. So we're in this time of the year where you can do a lot of great exchanges. Plant seeds. Go out and plant seeds of unconditional love. Go out and plant seeds of grace. Go out and plant seeds of being effortlessness in who you are expressing yourself on the planet. Do what you can to share some aspect of yourself with others. Now here's the other side, the downside of rhetorical speaking. I have some people I know, they like to talk the negative stuff. Well, they don't realize talking the negative all the time brings more negativity into their own life. So if you're telling the universal mind, the universal subconscious mind, that's all you wanted to experience is negative rhetorical thinking and speaking, you're going to get exactly what you put out into the universe. There's no doubt that this happens. So let me get off of that rant page and get over to this page. If you like the information, share it out right now with people, share out the link, let some other people come on. If you have some questions for me today, some comments, please come into the chat room and drop your questions and your comments so I can pick up on them so we can talk about them. Uh, today's topic is Become a better version. Choose this moment called you and seize the time called now. Well, as I already told you, I've been doing this for some time. So we must choose to become a better version of ourselves as we represent a moment called us in time, which is now. So when you look at the word version is a method. Version is a different way, a different appearance, a different look. So when we say a different version, we want to give a different vision almost, a different look, a different understanding. So we would think of that from day to day. Well, you here's some basic examples how you show yourself differently to the world every day. You don't wear the same clothes every day. You don't wear the same colors every day. You might have some favorite everyday shoes you wear. You might have some favorite eyeglasses that you wear, wristwatch that you wear, necklaces and things, but your outward appearance changes. Women don't wear the same, fingernail polish, the different colors. They might stylize it. Some are just plain. Others might see the style of the hair differently. I like fedoras and caps and brims. So I had my artist friend, fabric artist, and here she is now. Hey, yeah, I'm enjoying. I said I'm gonna wear it today because it reminds me of pizza slices. My friend here, Linda, she's a fabric artist, and this cap that I have on was all tattered in the seams. The seams were splitting because I wear these caps almost every day. If we got 365 days a year, I can guarantee you at least 200 days out of the year, I'm sporting one of these caps in different colors. I like fedoras. I wear them out. I got the lightweight ones and I've got the heavier weight ones. But here's the key. When you have someone like Linda who's a specialist at what she does, she could change this whole thing. Look at this. This is a whole new style for myself. And this looks like a tie. It reminds me of pizza though. And she's got beads and other things. But I like stuff like this. I like my wardrobe to look spiffy occasionally, to look bright and cheery. But that's what we have to do every day. Before we leave our home, we have an opportunity to create a better version than ourselves from the previous day. Many times, a lot of us experience being depressed or a state of melancholy or anger. And it takes a while to get out of that funk. But here's the key. Once you could get out of that funk, here's what happens for you. You can now present a different version of yourself, a more healed version, a more emotionally sensitive version, a happier version than yourself. That's the key. If you can present a happier version of yourself, that part, that new version that you're presenting to your immediate environment, your immediate world will begin to impact, radiate out into the world. I read something the other day. I forgot where I read it at. It might have been like a metaphysical journal of some type, but the author said, even your laughter, when you give a wholehearted laugh out into the ethers, that level of sensitivity that's flowing into the universe from you actually impacts something else thousands, 10,000s, millions of miles away. Your laughter can affect the wings of a butterfly. Your laughter, as this person is saying, can affect the foliage. It can create movement with leaves on plants. I said this before. Uh, Isaru Moto, I think that's his name, the Japanese scientist that dealt with water and thoughts. That if you put one word with a lot of energy into it, write it on a piece of paper and place it under a plant, that plant will feel that vibration and wilt or blossom. You could put it into water. The molecular structure of the water, when a droplet is viewed under a microscope, glass or plate, the if it's very positive energy in the word, you will see clearly sacred geometrical shapes with all the symmetry in place, all the balance. But if the word has a negative energy attached to it, then it's out of sorts. It's not balanced. It's not a balanced image. It becomes an image that carries the negative with it. So everything we do has to do with recognizing we are the way and we are now. The way is being in the present moment. If we can live in the present moment at a high vibrational frequency, we affect the worlds, the elements around us. I remember when I used to be a pseudo maintenance man, I'll say more of a porter at a factory. And this is way back in the 70s, 80s. This is just before I went on Lloyd's show for the very first time when he was on radio with WLIB. And what I was capable of doing was they told me, the establishment told me, hey, you got a flower bed out there and we want some things in it. Put some flowers. So I said, well, I'll look at it. I said, I'm going to plant 12, actually a baker's dozen, 12 plus one, which is 13. So I went to a flower nursery. I said, hey, I got to plant some flowers outside. So which are the kind of flowers that will withstand, heat, fall, and spring, if possible? And they told me it was a begonia, Begonia, begonia plants. So I got 12 of them. Well, I planted 12 seeds. Well, I gave each plant a name. So I said, well, I got 13 here. So I'm going to give each plant a name. There will be male names and female names. And after I was able to identify, because I would put a color like toothpick in, so I know which was which. But here's what was happening. There was a mud wasp in the ground. And this mud wasp wanted to know what the heck was I doing. So I gave the mud wasp a name. I called it the sheriff in town. But I gave these phrases, these words. I was even out there, nobody knew it, but I was even out there singing to the plant, trying to find what kind of tone of vibration. Well, I found out that the plants loved R&B. They loved the Temptations. So I would sing that. Anything from Motown era was for these plants. Even the mud wasp, rather than being defensive or trying to sting me, it was actually coming out and making friends with me. It was coming out to see who was laying out this vibration. So I laid out this vibration. But here's one of the unique things. There was a torrential rainstorm that came through one Saturday and Sunday, actually Friday night into Saturday into early Sunday morning. And I thought, because I was so connected to these plants, that they would be literally ripped up out of the flower bed in this brick part in front of the main entrance. Well, guess what? I rode past there and everything was still there. I didn't realize at the time I created a force field of unconditional love around those plants. And that mud wasp, it was flooded, but he was all right. He was still swimming. He was making it happen. So I say this to say that no, there are no separations. Everything is connected. Every person in human form Every animal in a four-legged, two-legged with wings is connected to us. We are to them. Plant life, mineral life, we're all connected. Insects, we're all connected. Everything can communicate with each other, and we can communicate on a bigger scale with all of nature. So we are creating a different version of ourselves. So there's an old version of yourself. There's an old version when you lived in fear. There's an old version when you wore doubt. There's an old version when you spoke anger all the time. There's an old version where you were drunk on the illusions of life. But eventually you grew from that. You started creating self care, self awareness, and greater well being for yourself. You found a way to take care of yourself. Maybe you ate better, you exercised, maybe you changed the way you eat, you started dressing differently. We do things to change the vibration with ourselves. If we can change the vibration with ourselves, we start feeling better about ourselves and we start emanating that kind of energy. We start radiating that energy into our environment. This is why I say meditation is so important. If we meditate on a regular basis, we are able to create change in the world. I'll say that again. If we meditate on a regular basis, we are able to create change in the world. If you get a group of people that meditate the same time, the same day, they will create change in the immediate environment that they are seated in and anything around them. I always try to tell some of my private students when we sit in meditation privately together, one on one, our goal is to affect our community. Our goal is to put so much light from our heart into that community that we see an automatic response, an automatic change. When we can see this automatic response, an automatic change, we realize that the world can feel the healing. See, there are many people who, this is not putting them down. They're unaware that they can affect huge environments. Tests and studies have been done all over the world where you've seen pictures of 1,000 monks in saffron robes with one candle in front of them. They're responsible for that one candle. But what are they doing? They're sending their thought vibrations into the world. Police departments say it all the time. When there's a full moon out, there's a lot of murders, there's a lot of rapes that go on, there's a lot of robberies that go on. But when there's a community of people laying out energy on a high frequency in their city, across the planet, they're all meeting at their designated time. It only takes 8 people to change the vibration. 8 people. Those 8 people affect 100 people. So 100 times over, we might say. Those 8 replicate hundreds of energy. So out of the 8 eventually becomes 800. Out of the 800 becomes 8,000. Out of the 8,000 becomes 80,000. And it just keeps growing until the point they can get 8 million, 8 billion out of 300 or 400 trillions of people on the planet. So things can change at a rapid pace because you can affect that change in your immediate environment. I told my meditation students on Saturday, I had them do this as an exercise, and I had them begin to go deeply and focus on the heart center, the heart chakra, placing their mind a couple of inches just in front of the center of their sternum. And knowing in that space, up against the body, as going through the physical body, going into the heart, out the back, the same energy. And that they could take this energy and they can impregnate the energy with a smile. And as they would begin to smile, this ability to smile inward toward their heart would send a signal. A signal would be sent from a vibratory rate that they're giving off with the smile into their body. And if they paused, they could feel the heart in them begin to express itself. It would throw back the light. It would acknowledge, I hear you, I feel you, and I offer you the same. I mentioned laugh yoga. You don't see it around too much, but back there, just as we hit 212 and a little after, people were doing something called laugh yoga. And laugh yoga is they would take three words: he, ha, ho, or ha, he, ho. However, HEHAHO. Whatever arrangement you place them in, you repeat each one three times. Now, there's nothing specifically in your mind at the moment, in your heart, but you're just going he, ha, 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 ho, ho, ho. You're repeating that. In less than a minute or 2 minutes, you find yourself laughing. And you continue to laugh outrageously, so to speak. You laugh so much that if there's other people in the room, they become impacted by your laughing. But I say this is what? When you laugh, can bring yourself to a point where you can laugh, you have created a brand new version of yourself. So you can affect the version of who you are from yesterday to today by colors, gemstones that you wear, hats, other clothings that you wear, things that you enjoy displaying when you have them. That alone sets out a frequency into the world. You got favorite shoes, that sets out a frequency. Patterns of colors, that sends out a frequency. This hat says joy. To be in a state of joy. I'm thinking, it's on my head. I'm thinking joy. I'm thinking to radiate the love into the world, radiate positive thoughts into the world. If I wear this outside, some people are going to feel it. First, they're going to say, well, what do you got on? I said, hey, I'm going to say someone made it out of love for me, and I'm wearing it in that same fashion because it brings joy and excitement into my, as a reminder, I think of joy. I think of happiness. So I said, it's about recognizing we are the way. Many great prophets and prophetesses have said they're following the word of Christ, Buddha, whatever, but they're saying they're following that word because that word is the way. The word Taoism, the way of Tao, the way of the Tao. The Chinese pronounce the T's as a D, the way of the Tao, DAO, is the way to open up and accept and embrace the 10,000 things, the 10,000 thoughts of infinity, of unconditional love and grace and harmony and compassion and understanding, healing, seeing the self as a healed source of energy, a source of wellness. But here's the other side of this message. I said you got to become a better version. So do better, right? You got to choose this moment. You're the moment. You're the one that represents the moment. You're trying to seize time now. Capture time now. Hold on to the element of now, being in this present moment. So I'm saying here there is nothing that can happen unless we decide in advance for it to happen. An event or any event must occupy space. This means that each one of us is a doorway to opportunity. Success is so called failure. We can determine to stand still or spring forward. So that's a challenge in itself. Are we standing still? If we're going to stand still, that means you're going to be an anchor, but you cannot waver. If you're going to be the anchor of unconditional love, but do not waver. Be the anchor of divine grace, divine light. Do not waver. In other words, do not doubt yourself. Do not doubt that you can't do what you say you're going to do. I was looking at something last night I have to be able to do when something comes in. And I said, now where am I going to get this other little bit when it comes in? I'm called a friend up. He's in Chicago. We always joke. His first two initials are E.T. And I always joke with him. I called him this morning. I said, hey, brother E.T., the Galactic Federation is going to revoke your membership. He started laughing. He started laughing because this is how we tease each other. But I've brought joy into his life. He said, I made his day. I brought joy and happiness. He said his wife heard what I said and she wanted to know what I said. And I claimed her too at the same time. And she's busted out laughing. There's a guy on the internet. He dresses up with the Mr. Grouchy face, like the Dr. Zeus character, the Grinch, but he calls himself Mr. Grouchy. But what he does is this guy takes his personal money. He created this little vacuum cleaner that actually lights up, and it's his boom box, and it's got these little black puppy dogs on it. And he goes from state to state, city to city, playing his music, and he's dancing in this outfit as the Grinch. All he's doing is bringing pure joy. Some places he gets kicked out of because they think, oh, he's just drawing negative attention. But he's not. He's bringing joy to children, to adults. He goes to senior citizen homes, nursing homes, and brings joy to those people. He goes to homeless shelters and brings joy to those people. He goes into neighborhoods, he just see him there. He just stops, get out, and he starts to dance. Why? Because he wants to bring joy into a person's life. So this man, he's not hired by some company, but this is his version of joy and happiness. Picks an R&B tune and he dances to it. Now he then picked up three other guys on the TikTok, because that's where he is. He picked up three other guys on TikTok, and what are they doing? They're dancing to his dancing to bring joy into the world, into this moment. So we know this is what happens though. If we stand still too long, as the moment produces itself, something new for us produces something new. But if we're standing in one place, one in our mind a little too long, one thing for sure will happen. Procrastination and not moving forward will lead to stagnation. So we don't need to be stagnated. We need to keep it moving, as they say. Keep it moving. But keep it moving with joy. Keep it moving with unconditional love. Keep it moving with grace and ease. As we recognize what time it truly is for us, we realize that man made time does not exist because there is only now. Now, man made time has us thinking far into the future. Why? So that you don't focus on yourself. That's the only reason you're focusing that far ahead. So you're not focusing on yourself. If we spend all our time focusing on the future and never on ourselves, or if we spend too much time focusing on the past, but never who we are right now, where we need to make the change, we will not affect anything. We will not create a better day, create a better mindset. Whenever we anticipate what is ahead, we create tension and anxiety, especially when the thought that we have does not exist yet or has passed us by. We choose not to experience this present moment. So this concept, become a better version, that means change your outlook, change how you see yourself. It doesn't matter how other people see you. It only matters how you view and see yourself. What is it that you love about yourself? What is it that you like about yourself? Choose this moment. Choose this opportunity. You are the way for this moment to exist. So you're the moment. And your biggest key is now. I'm quite sure many of you have neighbors who are friendly and who are not. I know I used to, when I first moved into this area that I moved in, I would go for a walk and I would try to say hi. Hello, how you doing? Some people give you eye-to-eye contact, some people don't. Some people act like you're not there. But you can feel it, their anger. They're angry about something. It's not you, but they're angry about something. And because you're now in their world, they're going to affect you with their anger. Well, you need to go out into the world with your shield of love, shield of unconditional love pouring forth from your heart. Eventually, you're going to find like eyes, like mind, like heart. And those people will reciprocate the same energy that you put out in the world. So that is my talk for today, my message for today. Become a better version of yourself now. Take advantage of this moment. You are the way, you are now, and you're living now. So your better version of today will be different from yesterday or a week before. And your better version for tomorrow will be different from today. If you can see yourself evolving into this better version, this most infinite version of yourself, where you are nothing but pure light, happiness, understanding, grace, divine grace, understanding, unconditional love, compassion. If you could become all of that, then you will impact everything that's going on around yourself. Nothing will be able to hold you back. Nothing. So, today is Thursday, November the 2nd. I got to get prepared. My oldest brother turned 76 today. I got to find a way to get on a family Zoom call. But I got to teach also later on tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for 2 hours for my paid workshop on how to sense, scan, and read auras. And that's for tonight. I'll be on from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for my students on the East Coast. That's 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Those in Central Time Zone, that will be 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Those on the Pacific Time Zone, that will be, I'm like an hour ahead of them. So that will be from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm right in the middle. I'm going to find a way to jump on. I might tell my students, just give me 2 or 3 minutes. I'll pick up my phone. I'll go in my bedroom and just get on for a little bit just to say happy birthday. But I was already had them laughing from this morning. So thank you all that are on here. Leave your comments, leave your questions if you'd like. I will try my best to be here next Thursday, which will be November the 9th at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Central, and 12 noon p.m. Pacific Standard Time, with another podcast titled here for my podcast, which is Clear Blue Radiance. If you're ever in the area of Resident Essentials, located at 3107 Eubank Boulevard, Northeast, inside the Scottsdale Shopping Village, stop by Suite Door number 34. It's a black door with jalousie beveled glass. That's where we're located. Today, we have someone there by the name of Liliana Rondon, and she makes beautiful healthcare products, not the kind that you will find in a supermarket or pharmacy or Target or a place. She's making it from natural herbs, and she makes these things. And she's also an artist. She's there every Thursday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Usually, she has a lunch and learn from 1 o'clock to 2 p.m. And she also has a open art studio where you come in, you paint, and you draw. And these are all healing factors that she's doing with everybody. So go by every Thursday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. to get together with Liliana Rondon of Jaguarina Apothecary. We also have on Tuesdays Reiki with Amber and Oracle cards with Nikki Phillips, and they are both there from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can get a reading, you can get a Reiki treatment. You can also just realize that they're there from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. together. You don't have to necessarily make an appointment. You can walk right in. Excuse me. Then on Wednesdays, we usually have Michelle Vidal, the owner of Resident Essentials. She's a psychic medium. She can give you tarot readings. She can connect you with loved ones from the other side and give you like very strong messages of that nature. And she is there doing that. She can do Healy, Healy treatments for you at the same time. That's with Michelle Vidal. And on Fridays, we have Lauren, better known as Lolo's Tarot. She's a young lady with long blonde hair, and she's reading herbal cards, as they call it, angel cards, as you call it, tarot cards that are depicting fairies. And so she's got messages for you. She's a very good practitioner reader here, very young lady who is striving to become a psychotherapist, I believe, or psychologist. But she's very has a good heart. You can connect with her usually from 10 a.m. to 4 or 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Fridays we have somebody there as well. Usually, sometimes we might have our resident astrologer, Johanna Rader, and usually from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then Saturdays, I'm there every Saturday from 11:30 in the morning to 12:30 p.m. for $10 per class. You can come and receive and participate in my Creative Path Work meditation series. This is where I teach you about mindfulness meditation. I have my own ways of doing it. I'm also giving you guided meditations. I have my own, these are all original techniques. And this is to help you eventually open yourself up so that you could meet your higher self. That is your true reason to meditate, is to have that communication with your higher self. Your higher self is your divine reflection in you, the Godhead in you. Everyone has it, and it's infinite. And so you can come from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and give you just for $10. I take cash, debit card, credit card. Bring a family member or friend and come join us. If you want to find out more about what I do, go to my website, www.circleofgrace with the number one, like you see here, but the one is after the word grace with no spaces, .us. And you can go to my website and read about everything I'm doing there. I have books on Amazon.com. The Key to Life is Numerology is my most recent one. I also have The Age of Remembrance, which is the divine I am presence in selenite. I have The Wisdom of Akhenaten as I am, and The Companion, which is the gift called The Wisdom of Nefertiti as I am. I have my book, Decree and It Shall Be, there on Amazon. And I also have my very first book, which is called Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace, which talks about how I got to where I am. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to go on Amazon and look up Michelle Vidal's book, Mastering Metaphysics, and it's about what she teaches, has been teaching for a very long time. So I'll see you next week at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central, and 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another talk from my podcast channel here under the Resident Essentials channel called Clear Blue Radiance. Until next time, my grace is your grace. Remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you real soon.